All right, move along. Nothing to see here. Oh, excuse me? You're part of the CSI team? They really sent in the newbies this time, huh? Well, you're already late, Johnny Utah. I've already contacted the DA. The search warrant is on the books. Just follow my lead, okay, Nancy Drew? And whatever you do, don't talk to any witnesses. You're a forensic scientist, not Magnum PI. You're here to reconstruct the scene. Oh, yeah, and don't touch anything. First of all, let the police line remind you of Linezolid. Now, during this initial walkthrough of the crime scene, we take immediate note of anything that seems out of place. Chair in a weird position, missing lamp fixture, that glass you're stepping on? Oh, you want this evidence to be inadmissible in court, huh? Is that it, Philip Marlowe? Luckily, I've got Annie here from the clindamycin sketch to document everything. Remember, you're trained in scientific observation. Take Annie's typewriter here, for example. A layperson sees a typewriter. A good investigator sees a ribosome, the 50S ribosomal subunit to be exact. Linezolid inhibits protein synthesis by binding the 50S subunit, thus preventing formation of the initiation complex. Whenever you see the typewriter, think of a paper jam. Bacteriostatic. All right, let's get into the crime scene. Another museum theft, no doubt. Linezolid. I've seen this guy work before. Active against gram-positive organisms such as staph, strep, and enterococcus. See the royal jewel exhibit? Looks untouched at first glance, right? Well, see how the round coccus-shaped jewels are disorganized into clusters and chains. Just like staph and strep, the purple should remind you of gram-positive coverage. Someone tried to get into that case. Well, don't just stand there. Get out a notepad, JJ Geets. Look, write this down. Linezolid is for treatment of serious gram-positive infections, like nosocomial pneumonia and complicated skin and soft tissue infections, including those due to MRSA and vancomycin-resistant enterococcus. Well, here we have the main attraction, the stuff dreams are made of. It's the pharaoh's sarcophagus, sitting a little askew, and his golden staff is lying on the ground. Somebody left here in a hurry. Does the pharaoh look familiar? The golden staff represents Staph aureus, and coupled with the merciless pharaoh, now we're talking about MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. See how the hieroglyphs spell out no mercy? That means MRSA coverage, kid. So add linezolid to our usual suspects with serious MRSA coverage, including vancomycin and daptomycin. Remember, the addition of linezolid or other MRSA coverage may be important in hospital settings. And speak of the devil, the ambulance crew has arrived. See the nurse waiting beside the ambulance? Notice that she's coughing and has lung stains on her uniform. This looks like hospital-acquired pneumonia, just one example of nosocomial MRSA infection. Though she should have called in sick before spreading her DNA all over my crime scene. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Hey, it looks like we have a suspect getting apprehended by the feds. He's resisting arrest. Specifically, he's resisting getting thrown into that van. That police van represents vancomycin, and it emphasizes that linezolid is active against vancomycin-resistant bacterial strains. The one you need to know is enterococcus, an important cause of nosocomial UTI and endocarditis. Our usual representation of enterococcus is our purple double bass drum player who's ready to rock, evoking the appearance of this gram-positive diplococcus. Well, instead we have these native purple diplococci drums from the New Guinea exhibit. Before we wrap up this investigation, let's document the damage he's done to this place. The principal toxicity of linezolid is hematologic. Thrombocytopenia is the most common manifestation. See those plates that have been shattered? Well, those priceless artifacts represent depression of platelet production. Linezolid can even lead to more extensive anemia and neutropenia. In prolonged courses of linezolid, optic neuropathy has been reported, leading to decreased visual acuity, development of scotomas, and diminished color perception. And the highly trained eye may be able to pick up the optic nerve like wires that were damaged, leading to the security camera. Nice try, scumbag. It's not just optic neuropathy, though. Also keep peripheral neuropathy in mind. Linezolid induced peripheral neuropathy usually manifests as a glove and stocking sensory impairment, kind of like the gloves and shoe covers worn by this investigator who's being careful not to disturb any of the evidence. One last thing, Linezolid always leaves his trademark at the scene, the serotonin smiley face. This represents serotonin syndrome. Linezolid is a weak inhibitor of monoamine oxidase and can precipitate serotonin toxicity when co-administered with MAO inhibitors, SSRIs, SNRIs, or bupropion. So be careful, kid. Serotonin can make you happy, but all work and too much of a good thing makes... You know what? It's time to sum up this sketch. Linezolid inhibits protein synthesis by binding the 50S ribosomal subunit, thus preventing formation of the initiation complex. Whenever you see the typewriter, think bacteriostatic. Linezolid is used in serious gram-positive infections, like nosocomial pneumonia and complicated skin and soft tissue infections, including those due to MRSA and, remember on an exam, vancomycin-resistant enterococcus. Important side effects are optic neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, and thrombocytopenia. And remember that serotonin smiley face. It represents that serotonin syndrome that can be induced if co-administered with SSRIs, SNRIs, MAO inhibitors, or bupropion. You know what? You did good today, kid. You did good.